What is up, everybody? Welcome back to another edition of the Sheehan Show. Me, Sean Sheehan, here on Sherdog.com, and I am back with my best bets for the week in the world of mixed martial arts. Now, I usually set my top 5 bets, but I've actually gone for 7 bets this week. So we have 4 normal bets, we have 2 flyers, and we have 1 pay-per-view parlay, which I'm bringing back. I had a bit of a hiatus last time, bringing it back this time. Before we get to this week, let's look back at last week. Again, another 50-50 week. We hit 2, missed 2, and the flyer didn't hit. The flyer was the Ritter via TKO KO. I was kind of saying the fight would end that way. Just so happened it was the other way around. No, I kind of did say I fancied Allen a little bit as well as an underdog pick. So not the worst pick, but not the best either. There was a big shock over in PFL for one of the wrong bets I had. Dwight Joseph lost. That was a little bit surprising, and maybe that price was too good to be true. I think the bookies had us on that one. And then the other bet that didn't hit was the Holland Malott fight in by submission, which nearly did at one stage. Took on a very weird look, that Malott Holland fight, after all the low blows. So that was a bit unlucky. The 2 that did hit, we had Ayman Zahabi winning at -125. That's a pretty good price. I actually had Cheeto winning, so we can call that lucky, but it was a 50-50 fight. And then our double hit as well over in PFL Africa, Patrick Osheme and Sheila Boris Esperanza at +109, so that was pretty good. I said on the other show as well, and I only realised it afterwards. Osheme actually missed weight and he's out of the tournament, which I never realised at all. I was wondering why that was no longer the main event. But anyway, if you listen to the other show and I talked about that, apologies for that. Osheme won, but he missed weight. I think his opponent actually missed weight as well. So both of them are out of the PFL Africa tournament. But 2 for 4, not too bad. Overall, we've hit 88 bets now out of 172. So, you know, not amazing. We want to get that record better. We've hit 6 flyers as well. So hopefully we get 2 more this week. I'm hoping to hit the 100 mark, 100 correct bets by the end of the year. And I should do that. 12 in. It's only 2 months, but you know the MMA event starts slowing down once we get to the last couple of weeks of the year as well. So we'll have to do that. Right. Let's get into it here straight away and get through these bets here in the next 10 minutes or so. Now, there's a few bets this week. The first one and the 2 flyers. I'm just taking the prices here, to be honest, because they're too good for me to be true. A couple of these, I just think they're off. So I'm going to start with Volkov. And bet number 1 of the week is Volkov. Volkov +175 to win his fight over Jailton Almeida. Look, if you're to give me a straight up, who do I think will win the fight? I'm kind of just leaning Almeida. But the other day, someone asked me to put in my picks, and I put in my picks, and I was Volkov, and I changed my mind. And I'm like, I'm thinking about changing my mind. It's one of those fights. So one that being a +175 underdog in that fight is, to me, a very, very, very good price. I'm actually looking here. In the last 20 minutes, he's gone up to +180. So that's a +180 bet right now. I think that is such a good price on Volkov. Like, we have seen Jailton Almeida get to this level before and fail. I still maintain to be better at 205. I've liked Jailton for a long time, but against a guy like Volkov, who has such a height advantage, a reach advantage, who has fought and beat good guys at this level before. Like, I was chatting the other day, like, he very well might be the 3rd best heavyweight in the UFC. It's just that he has kind of lost before he got to the level, and there's always been a Stipe there, a Jones there, a Cormier there, and now maybe an Aspinall or a Gane there, who, obviously he's lost to Gane twice. It's going to be tough for him to get there, but his opponent Almeida hasn't got that far even yet. If he can take him down, I think it's advantage Volkov on the feet. Even we've seen it before from the Brazilian, where he was in a fight against Curtis Blades, was able to get him down early, but then when he wasn't able to keep him down, when Blades got back up, he struggled badly and kind of lost confidence in himself. Has had 2 easy enough fights since then. If this is a bit tougher, could those demons come back into his head? Maybe they could. Volkov is a guy who's been in there with some of the best and beat a lot of good guys as well. He beat Pavlovich, Tuivasa, Romanov and Rosenstruck before losing to Gane. The only guys he's lost in the last 5 years are Ciryl Gane and Tom Aspinall. You know, he's beaten all comers in that division apart from them in those last 5 years. So I think he's in with a great chance here. Again, 50-50 fight. If you're to push me, I might just go for Almeida, but at plus 180, it's definitely Volkov the pick here. Right, bet number 2 of the week. I'm going for Azamat Murzakanov at minus 112. Let me just check that price. Yeah, minus 112, still their best price. Minus 120 is actually the worst price I see here, and he's fighting Alexander Rakic. I kind of understand why that price is the way it is. You know, Murzakanov at 15-0, 36 years of age. He's very, very good. Deserves to be the favourite, but he's never beaten anyone to that level. You know, the best guys he's beaten are Dustin Jacoby and Alonzo Minifield in the UFC. Outside, you know, he's beaten, actually in the Contender Series, he's beaten Matthias Scheffel, Mohamed Fakhreddin, as well, even Andrea Muniz outside of the UFC. But, you know, Rakic he's at a stage in his career where he's coming off of 2 years out between 22 and 24, lost both fights since. But I don't think he looked actually terrible in either of those fights against Prochazka and Ankalaev. He got finished in the first, obviously went to decision against Ankalaev. My thinking in this fight is I went back and I watched a good bit of tape on Murzakanov, and he's one of those guys that I think at 5'11" will fight very well against a guy who's a lot bigger than him at 6'5" in Rakic. Look, that is the one issue as well. Like, will he fight that well against Rakic? And the reason I'm picking him is because I think he will. Like, he's really good at breaking that distance with speed, whereas Rakic, you know, I think he's a good jab and he's good at fighting from length, but you're going to have to be excellent at doing that against Murzakanov. I think he's almost a guy who's, I think if he fought a middleweight or something, he might struggle. Against Minifield's speed inside with some of those uppercuts, he was able to land at him. Murzakanov was very, very fast as well, and, you know, beat him with that quickness and ended up finishing him. But I actually think he'll do better against the bigger guys than the smaller guys, if that makes any sense. I think someone with more speed than him might give him issues, whereas Rakic is not going to have more speed. He's going to have more length and more reach. But I think he's, Murzakanov really good at breaking that down. Is a powerful striker. 11 knockouts in his 15 fight career so far. Won 7 of his last 8 via knockout as well. Okay, this is a jump up in class. I do think the fight will go a little bit longer. That's why I haven't picked it via knockout or anything like that. But I am going for Murzakanov straight up for the price of minus 112. Right. Bet number 3. I gave you this pick a couple of weeks ago. I gave it as a flyer for a fight that didn't happen, and I'm giving it to you again here. I'm going for Valter Walker just to win via submission here against Louis Sutherland, and that is plus 140. You know, I might start bringing in the bet of the week. This is without a shadow of a doubt the bet of the week here. You know, Louis Sutherland, you know, he's not a bad fighter. 10-3 coming out of GB top team. They're very good. Very good gym over there, but you know, he's lost to Abraham Babley and Slim Trabelsi. You know, I lost another guy as well, but I know the two of them, and you know, good fighters, but I don't think either of them are as dangerous in terms of what they can bring to the ground game as Valter Walker can. You know, that, you know, the heel hook, won 3 in a row with it. It's very hard to see him not winning via heel hook again. I was thinking about throwing this in as a possible flyer for the first round submission. Let me just look up that again. That is the first round submission. I was looking at TKO there. I was like, oh, is that the wrong one? He's plus 350. Not a bad flyer at all. You know, Walker by submission plus 350 is definitely a bet that I would have a go on, but I already had 2 other flyers, so I stayed away from it. But I love Walker via submission. I think it's almost definite that he'll win by submission. As well, you look at the fight itself, he is a minus 380, you know, best price minus 333 to win straight up. He's more than likely going to win by submission. So that is bet number 3 of the week. Fairly easy one there. The next bet is plus 140 as well, and this is our fourth money line bet of the week, although the submission one wasn't. I'm going for Virna Jandiroba to win over Mackenzie Dern. Again, best price plus 140. She is around the plus 135-ish everywhere. I'll be honest, I went back and I watched the first fight, and I don't think there's a whole lot you can take, honestly, from the first fight. It was 5 years ago. It was a close enough fight. Like, Dern was able to get on top a couple of times. She wasn't able to submit her. You know, she was, I think, slightly better at times on the feet. I actually think Jandiroba has gotten a lot better on the feet since then. Like, she's lost one fight to Amanda Hebas. You know, beating Yan Xiaonan was a really top win for me. Beat Amanda Lemus, Marina Rodriguez as well. You know, Mackenzie Dern has had some good wins. She beat Hebas, but she lost to Lemus, lost to Andrade, lost to Yan Xiaonan. I think one fighter has gone up and been better and better since, whereas Dern is hot and cold. You know, sometimes she's very good, sometimes she's not very good. I think she's also the type of fighter that the pressure might get to her. The 5 rounds is going to be tough for her as well. I know she beat Angela Hill over 5 rounds. Well, you know, that's Angela Hill, with all due respect. She lost to Yan Xiaonan over 5 rounds, lost to Marina Rodriguez over 5 rounds as well. Now, Jandiroba has never been there in the UFC. She was in Invicta and won her fight against Mizuki Inoue back in 2018. I like the jab of Jandiroba here. I like her controlling the fight on the feet. I think when she's pushed to the pin of her collar, it might be an issue, but is Dern going to do that? Like, I think a lot of this will come down to who's in the better shape as well, and I suppose we'll see on that one. But I think Jandiroba might have enough. She might even be the very first person to submit Mackenzie Dern. Let's see if that happens. That'd be a big one, but we'll see on that. Right. Let's get to the flyers. So I'm going for 2 straight up flyers here. And the first one I'm going to go for is Ciryl Gane. Plus 320. You know, it's borderline, I suppose, flyer, but I think he has a great chance here. I think this is way off. Like, I did a whole podcast about this, so I needn't go into it too much here, but Tom Aspinall is an amazing fighter in the first round, and he gets everyone out of there, basically. Has only won 1 fight outside of the first round, has lost 2 fights outside of the first round, both in the second round, never been to a 3rd round, never been to a 4th round, never been to a 5th round, never been to a 3-round decision, never been to a 5-round decision. And again, I did a whole podcast on this, so please listen to that. But I'm betting on this, and it mightn't be enough sauce for some people out there, but for me, it's basically I'm betting plus 320 that Ciryl Gane gets out of the first round and extends this fight. Like, if you're Ciryl Gane here, take this anywhere you can so it doesn't end in the first 10 minutes. Push him against the cage, hold him there. Like, Gane looks very big to me as well coming in this. I wonder, is that going to be part of his game plan? Like, I'm sure Aspinall's prepared very, very well, and you know, he's prepared for 5 rounds, but when you've never even been 3 rounds, there are questions to be asked there. So I think, look, there are some money bets that you can look for in terms of the knockout and things like that. The over-unders, I like the over around and a half as well, to be honest, at minus 115. Like, if you're looking at Aspinall via KO, it's just around even money. Like, Gane via KO is plus 550. I like that an awful lot. Like, a lot of people think Aspinall's going to win by submission. If I was betting Aspinall, I'd probably go Aspinall by submission. Plus 300 some places, other places down as low as plus 200. So, but yeah, that's probably what I'd go for. I could get a 3-1. But I think the smart money here is Ciryl Gane plus 320. Again, it's a fight he might not win, but I think Aspinall at minus 400 is just way too much. A heavyweight fight for a guy who looks really, really good, looks amazing, but is basically completely untested beyond the round. So let's see how that one goes. The other flyer I'm going to give you is Mario Bautista, plus 475 best price here, above 420, plus 420 everywhere. Watching, look, I was picking Umar early in the week, and I probably just about lean Umar based on the takedowns, but having gone back and watched tape of both of these guys, it's very, very hard for me to look at them and not give Bautista a big chance in this fight. Like, go back and watch the Bezad Al-Makin fight, which happened 2024, so not that long ago. It was, you know, his second last win. And he gave him fits off the back foot, the way Bautista fights. He controlled that fight at times. Now, Umar was able to get the takedowns, and that's what ruined him. That could be the issue for Bautista. But to me, Bautista looks like one of the most well-prepared fighters in the UFC. He's on an unbelievable 8-9 fight run, beating some very good guys. Pachi Mix, Jose Aldo. I think if he can stop that takedown, look, easier said than done against Umar. Now, Umar's not just a takedown artist, but I think in this fight he will be. If he can stop that takedown, I think he has... I think he's in real trouble, Umar, here against Bautista. Over 3 rounds, I could see Bautista winning the decision here. So I love that price at plus 475 as a flyer. So definitely Mario Bautista in there. Right, let's end it on the pay-per-view parlay. This is a plus 430 parlay. I usually give a bit of a bigger one, but we're going to go with Klein at minus 138. We're going to go Walker at minus 333. We're going to go with Hamdy Abdelwahab at minus 420 and Nasrat Haqparast at minus 110. I talked about the Walker one. I think Hamdy against Bennett, I think that's almost a certainty. I like Klein, honestly, in that fight. He had a bit of a down fight last time out, but I think he'll bounce back here well against Rambeki. And then the other one as well, Haqparast, Killian looks good. He's a good fighter, but Haqparast is a guy who's hard bet, as we'd say here in Ireland. I just think he might be able to come through that one. So those are the 4 guys at plus 430 for the pay-per-view parlay. So the bets, just to recap again: Volkov, Murzakanov, Walker by submission, Jandiroba, Gane, Bautista, and the parlay plus 430, Klein, Walker, Abdelwahab, and Haqparast. All right, everyone, please bet responsibly. Let me know in the comment section below your one bet for the week. My name is Sheehan for Sherdog.com, and I'll see you all next time.